everybody. Thanks so much for tuning back in. This is Far From Home. I'm Joe Tate.
And I'm Alex Vargo.
And we are the Super BodySlam Bros. And today, we're here to wrestle with the Valor Pro Wrestling show that we went to last night. Man, it was a great show. I was actually taken aback by how much we got last night. How did you feel about it?
Oh, it was such a fantastic time. You talk about a promotion who thrives on fan interaction and engaging with their public. Boy, did they bring it. And what was great about it was VPW, Valor Pro Wrestling. They didn't just bring us good wrestling actions. They gave us great character-driven wrestling action. We had stories. We had beginnings of narratives. It was a fun show, and they're doing something different out there.
Yeah, it was really great. And I agree with all those points, especially the one about the characters. I didn't expect to see such defined, strong character work last night. So I was really happy about that. And then talk a little bit more about the beginnings of storylines, right? Because we did find out last night, this wasn't something that they advertised, but last night was the start of their world championship qualifying tournament. And we got treated to two of the first matches in that tournament. And that was a surprise to me.
Yeah, no, that's right. So they opened with them showcasing their wonderful and beautiful, I might add, VPW, Valor Pro Wrestling heavyweight title. And this thing was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was super pretty, super nice, pristine. You can tell that the guys in that ring were just working for it, man. They were looking over at that belt, and it's a big deal, and it's a beautiful title.
Definitely. So it was announced that we were going to have two semifinal qualifying matches, setting up, I believe, the final for their next event. And these guys, they brought out some banger matches. It was some really good action.
I do hope that the finals take place at their next event, which let's go ahead and do some business here. It's October 28th. They're coming back to town. That's the Saturday before Halloween, and I'm here for it, man. Count me in.
I'm excited for them to come back to the VFW for their next show, their Halloween show, which I'm excited to see what they pull out for Halloween. Ooh.
I bet it's going to be spooky. It's going to be spooky. All right, so let's get into the action here, Alex. We've got the table set, the tournament starting, but up first we get a match between Jack Bruce Davidson and the Malignant King Trivico. Talk to me a little bit about how Jack Bruce Davidson made you feel when he came to the ring, man, because he was on fire.
Oh, man, he was such a ball of energy when he came out. What a good person to have open the show, because he came out hyping that crowd, getting everybody excited. He got me excited. I was rooting for this man. He gave me a young Lionheart Chris Jericho almost vibe with the way he came out versus getting the crowd hyped. And so he brought the energy in. It was a great way to open the show.
Agreed. And then to follow him up, the Malignant King Trivico. Just by the name alone, it strikes fear. But this guy was full gimmicked up, man. He's a monster, first of all. He's got the build of a monster, and he came to the ring looking like trouble, man. He was here. You know what? I got the sense of malice from this young man, or this old, I don't know. He had a mask on. This guy was destruction, hungry for it. Yum, yum, yum.
Oh, yeah. To add on to this hype train of Trivico, he came out masked wrestler carrying a giant black staff, oozing dark, sinister soul evil. And he had these kids hiding behind their moms and dads, and you just knew he wasn't the person to mess with when he came to this ring. Jack Bruce Davidson, he had an uphill battle ahead of him.
That was what we saw too, man, because the whole match, man, it was there were some flourishes and some high energy spots from Jack Bruce, and he did work in that ring. But I will tell you, he took some damage, and this guy has some resiliency. I mean, he got slammed around last night.
That's right, JBD. He was getting tossed around by Trivico, and this guy, he showed nothing but grit and heart. He kept getting up and trying to answer this power offense from Trivico as much as he could. What a valiant fight from this man.
And you know what I'll say too is something that maybe it's something missed on TV with just watching on TV all the time, but maybe because we were so close to the action and you're so dialed in to watching it, Jack Bruce's his facials, man, they're so money. He's so good He's a great seller. He registers great pain and all those things. I mean, they were tremendous. He took a beating last night. I was very impressed. We did see Trivico get the win here, but man, it was a great outing for both of these guys, and we became fans instantly of these guys.
Right. And that's the thing. When it comes to Trivico, not to sell him short and act like he didn't do nothing. This man was slow. He was methodical. When he performed a move, it was designed to hurt and to take the will out of his opponent. And for JBD to weather that storm as long as he did, I expect nothing but great things from him. And I think he's going to be back to give Trivico a run for his money.
I would love to see a rematch, and yeah, I'm here for it. So up next, Alex, we get the first of the tournament matches, which again was a really exciting surprise. Out to the ring first, we get Wolfman Bronson, and he was here to take on Dalton.
That's right. According to the ring, it was his debut match for VPW. And boy, did this guy come out with a character. He first hits the ring, coming, I believe he was billed from Portland, Oregon. And he had a very hippie vibe to him, very tree loving hippie vibe to him. And the crowd was not there for him. They let him know that we don't take kindly to hippies in this area, but it
Yeah.
didn't take any heart out of him because he put up a fight.
I do think that was the first time I had ever heard the chant "kill the hippie" at a wrestling show or in any context, really. Kill that hippie. Okay. You know what really popped me too, man, was at the beginning of the match when he made his entrance. He did the thing where he took his hippie-ish shirt off and he kind of tossed it, but it landed in an actual tree. And he kind of turned it into a funny moment about hugging trees and stuff. And so he played with that a little bit. He was really impressive last night.
Right. No, and he did. When he threw his shirt and it got stuck in the tree, rather than allow the crowd to humiliate him, he advised us and let us know that that is how much he loves nature, that he felt he needed to close this tree and make it feel warm and safe and cozy.
Warm, safe, and cozy. I'll let you guys come to your own jokes there. That's for you. That's for you. Let's talk a little bit about Wolfman Bronson because this guy, I've never seen him, obviously, but he's got quite the build, quite the look, and the guy's he's beefy. He's beefy. What did you think about Wolfman?
That's right. Making his way to the ring with a red studded wolf mask and howling it to the moon. This guy came out with energy and he was rabid and he was ready.
I did take note too that he was sporting a Bray armband around, so he was showing his support and love for the passing of Bray Wyatt. So much respect to that. And again, this guy just looks the part. I'll say what you know what here we got some really good chain wrestling too, which is not something you always expect from an indie show from a local event. These guys were kind of like putting on a clinic in a very technical sense.
That's right. Hippie-ish aside, our man Dalton, he came out with some really strong chain wrestling and kind of surprised Bronson, but Bronson had answers for it with his own. And they did put on a good clinic of chain holds and really showcase their technical skill.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And then towards the end here, man, we get a look at Wolfman giving Dalton a really sick Sister Abigail for the 1, 2, 3, and he picks up the victory and he's moving on in the tournament.
And that's right. After hitting that wonderful power move and wonderful tribute to Bray Wyatt, he does pick up the win. But man, did these guys put some action in that ring? So our wonderful hippie, he had some great power moves and some wonderful athletic moves outside of the ring. And the thing that really popped me when it came to Bronson was that he wasn't afraid to use his wolf-like animal instincts to get out of sticky situations. And we saw him multiple times bite arms and ankles and fingers to get out of holds and to get the upper hand on his opponent.
To be fair, it's what a Wolfman would do.
This is correct. This is correct. I'm just glad that he didn't mark his territory when the match was done.
I hadn't thought about that, but same. Following this match, we get immediately the next tournament match, which was another treat. This guy, Brandon Gee, greatness personified. He comes out to the ring, and what's he holding, Alex? Tell me about it.
Oh, that's right. He's got his little black book of greatness. And I really was interesting to know what he had in there that was so great. Even to the point where I requested a story from him and he let me know that he would read me a bedtime story anytime I felt fit for it. And I said, "No, thank you, sir. You do not have to hurt me."
It was a really cool moment right there when he heard you screaming, "Read me a story," and he said, "I got you, big guy. I got you. I'll
He
read you
he
anytime."
definitely did.
And out to the ring next, we get some dude chilling. That's not me making a joke. That's this guy's name. He was some dude chilling. What did you think about some dude chilling?
He was my favorite of the night. The way he came to the ring, the way he was announced, I couldn't help but laugh when the ring announcer so calmly goes, "Coming to the ring is some dude chilling." And here he comes in his wonderful open floral print Hawaiian shirt and the fanny pack around his chest, throwing up shakas to the crowd just without a care in the world. Such a SoCal vibe.
As a fellow fanny pack guy, I could really appreciate some dude chilling coming to the ring sporting the pack. It's coming back, baby.
Definitely. Definitely. And I will not wear one.
Well, fooey on you. I want to say something about some dude chilling too. He's got such a presence about him in this role that he's in, and his look. He's tall, he's slender, he's lean, and the guy can move in the ring. I was super impressed by him last night.
Right, which to me, this was probably the more technical and uh, most action-packed match of the night. The greatness and some dude, man, these guys both have skill, and we got a nice chain wrestling opener. We got wonderful back and forth pinfalls. These guys put on a show before they really started pulling out their moves.
Yeah, for sure. And then some dude chilling. He's got really great like evasion skills. He was I don't want to say weaselly, but he was just kind of weaseling out of everything, man. Just reversal, reversal, escape, escape, and then following it up with some super serious offense, man. It was fun to watch.
Definitely. But that's not selling the greatness short, because just as wily and as evasive as some dude was, the greatness had his book. The greatness would pull out that book and he would check his compendium of greatness for counters and strategies to help stop him in letting some dude take the win.
Yeah, it was great. I was super intrigued by the Book of Greatness because at one point in the match, some dude chilling had done something maybe a little less than maybe it was illegal. I'm not sure, but what we got from the greatness personified, he said that's not in the book, man. You can't do that. That's not in the book. It was
That's
great.
right. That's right. And he was really quick to point that out. So, also great characters in the ring. These guys brought so much personality. It shined through their match. And man, they won the crowd over and they got a loud cheer for their action.
I think one of the things about Brandon Gee that kind of made me, I don't like him. He was trying to injure my boy's rolling arm, and it was quite evident during the match there that some dude chilling didn't want his rolling arm injured, and I don't think that was in the book either, Brandon. So
Exactly. As a born and bred SoCal boy, you don't mess with a man's rolling arm. We all know how important rolling is for Californians. So don't mess with the boys thing. But what I want to talk about was some dude's finisher. I believe it was referred to as "I'm gonna do the thing." And boy, did he do a thing. So he looked like he was going to do almost like a pump handle slam, which he twisted around into a bomb. It was one of the most beautiful uh, spinning maneuvers I've seen in quite some time. And boy, did he squash the greatness on the mat with it.
yeah, he did, and that's what led to him getting to 1, 2, 3 in the victory. And he too is moving on to the finals. I would assume the finals of the championship tournament. Another great match. It's very evident to me why these guys that we've seen so far in these roles in this tournament, why they're there, because they're super talented, and man, they're just really strong characters too.
Yeah, and they're leaving it all out there. Like they really left it out there. These guys really showed their passion.
And then up next, we get another match. We got Phil Godfrey versus Noah Anderson. Talk to me a little bit about how you felt when we saw Phil Godfrey coming out to the ring.
You talk about a mountain of a man. The minute he came out, I said King Kong Bundy and Paul White had a love child. This boy was big, he was thick, the head was bald, the beard was mighty, and man was he power.
Yeah, as soon as you walked over to me and said that, man, that King Kong Bundy and Paul White had a baby, I could not see Phil Godfrey in any other light. It was just this guy had a presence about him, a look about him, and his size is super daunting, as we'll see. That does come into play in this match. Noah Anderson, talk to me a little bit about this guy. He's out of Las Vegas, so he's coming a little ways to be here for this fight. Noah Anderson, he was pretty impressive also.
That's right. He was a wild card, wild child coming out of Vegas with some streetwise energy and some tricks up his sleeve. And boy, did he need these things to escape the power of good old Godfrey, man, because there was a very discerning size difference between the two.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say that, like, even though how as big as Godfrey is, he's also very nimble and flexible, surprisingly so, right?
Oh, no, definitely. So we saw a spot in the match where we had Noah get him in a head scissor hold, and Godfrey was able to twist out of it, do a handstand, then spread his legs out into many different directions and pop out of it almost like he was a high flyer.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch and almost in a surprising way. You know what? Noah Anderson here had great crowd work also. I found myself chuckling out loud several times throughout the match when he would be communicating with the crowd and like, oh, oh man, that really hurt, or just it was silly things like that that just, pop a live crowd, and he was really good at them.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, you talk about character work. He was able to use this obvious size disadvantage and play the crowd with it, even to the point where when he took that splash and I yelled out to him, "Are you okay?" And we get that little no from underneath Godfrey. Yeah, he really got me compelled, and I was visually concerned for him. I thought he was dead.
There was a great move towards the end of this match here too. Phil Godfrey, man, it was like a fall away pump handle slam, but like a T-bone too. It was a very interesting move, and I thought the match was over at that point. It definitely wasn't, but I thought that could be a finish.
Right. No, he hit him with this wonderful, like you said, almost like a pump handle T-bone Tazplex, and he squashed poor Noah on that mat. But man, you talk about the resilience and the indomitable fortitude that this guy had. He just kept fighting his way back up.
That's right. And Noah actually did come away with the victory here after when out of nowhere he hit Phil Godfrey with the blunt force trauma. And it was wicked looking, man. He went to sleep. It was 1, 2, 3.
That's where I felt that maybe Godfrey should have had some hair as good as that beard, because it might have helped take some of that impact from that BFT that he ate, and he might have been able to get out of it.
That's right, man. It was a cool, fun match to watch. And like I said, Phil Godfrey, he's got a look about him. I can't wait to see what he does in the future.
Yes, I am a fan of Godfrey.
All right, so up next we get the semi-main event, which is Legend Daredevil versus the Man on Fire, Inferno. Man, if there was ever a man on fire, it was this guy. Inferno, he was my highlight of the night. I am a fan now.
Oh man, you talk about a guy with ring presence. He came out like the name is a man on fire, exuding power and confidence. And he came to this ring with a man who had a plan, and he was ready to uh follow it to the T out there.
Yeah, and Legend Daredevil, he's living up to his name here too throughout this match. He took some chances, and there was a lot of outside fighting, and it was a match that impressed me, and I thought that it may have been the match of the night for me. How did you feel about it?
Oh, right. If you talk about a great example of power versus speed and finesse, it was this match. You had Legend Daredevil, who is sleek and fast and agile, and you have Inferno, who's big and powerful. the contrast in styles, and boy, did they bring it to each other. For as much power as the Inferno could give out to Daredevil, to Legend Daredevil was able to answer with high flying antics and speed. I agree with you when it's one of the highlight matches of the night.
Yeah, man. And there were a couple instances. Like one was when Inferno hit Daredevil with a running cutter from the corner. That looked very vicious to me.
Not only that, we also got a great show of strength for Inferno, who got Legend Daredevil up for a suplex and held him in the air for a good 15 to 20 seconds before dropping him on his back. And man, did that have such an impact. It was so loud.
Hey, talk about loud. The chops that my man Inferno was delivering last night was thunderous. He was just mincing meat out there out of Legend's chest. It was gnarly.
That's right. But you can't discredit the Legend. For as much punishment as he took, boy, did he dish it out. He was coming off the top rope. He was hitting him with these high flying, high impact moves. Beginning of the match, he gives Inferno a great drop kick to the chops. I think a couple teeth flew out to the concession stand. But man, he brought some vicious strikes too, and we can't discredit his chops. They were chopping lumber out there on each other.
Chopping broccoli. No, it was excellent, dude. And yeah, not to discredit the legend either. Like he is legendary for a reason. He's a daredevil. He was hitting dives from the inside to the outside. They were beautiful and malicious. And but towards the end of the match, we get one of the best, if not the best, fisherman buster I've ever seen, delivered by Inferno for the victory here.
That's right. I mean, you talk about a beautiful technical textbook fisherman buster. He got the fingers clasped on that leg in the hook and slammed him backwards on his back and got that 1, 2, 3. Man, it was such an exciting match. And also one of the most vocal matches of the night. We had a crowd divided between Legend Daredevil and Inferno, rooting back and forth and chanting them on. Yeah, and these guys left it out there for the crowd.
It maybe was the most crowd participation of the evening, and these guys are in this spot for a reason. Clearly, the semi-main event. They went out there and worked last night, and it was just a joy to watch.
Definitely. And it was just another testament to this talent that came up here to put on this show. You know, guys from our local area with a passion, and man, did they brought the passion. I was so grateful for this night of wrestling.
And up next, we get the main event, and we get to see Werewolf versus Rickster. Man, when I saw Werewolf walking down to the ring, I almost couldn't contain myself. I was like, oh, that's a lot of meat right there. There's a lot of meat. He's just a big, beefy, cut dude. Oh, he looks the part. And when he came down to the ring, he came down to the ring with a purpose, man. How'd you feel about it when you saw Werewolf?
Oh man. To go with the context of how we described Godfrey, if Rick Steiner and Biggie Langston had a baby, you got Werewolf. Yeah, this man was a beast. He was a beast. He came out barking to the crowd, getting them riled up like he was coming to the yard to maul somebody, and was his presence strong. Another one who really surprised me too is that at first you see the kids who were like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But by the end of the night, these kids were cheering for him and wanted to know him.
Yeah, for sure. And not to be outdone, we get Rickster out to the ring. We've talked a little bit here today about some of the similarities in some of these guys and stuff we see in other guys. Talk to me a little bit about Rickster. What kind of vibes do you get from him? Because this guy was super impressive last night.
Oh, right, man. You talk about a guy who brought great ring psychology, intensity, and just performance knowledge. Rickster was a firecracker. He came out a ball of energy, just rocking to the crowd, and he never let up with that. As energetic as he came in, as energetic as he went out. He was one of my favorites of the night.
Definitely a highlight. This guy was super athletic too, and he was leaving it all out there, like you said. There was a moment where Werewolf hits this beautiful belly to belly suplex, And I instantly saw what you saw in him when you said the Rick Steiner thing. I was like, between the bark, the build, the just the demeanor, the meanness, and then that belly to belly, which was textbook. Oh yeah, I'm here for Werewolf.
Oh man, he flattened Rickster with that maneuver. God, it was such a beautiful maneuver. Spinning around, planting the legs, getting the hips to pop, and he got them feet over his head and just spun him like thunder when he hit the mat. This guy's technical ability is amazing.
And then, not to be outdone, Rickster, he shows me some more stuff here. He shows me something I've never seen in my life. You called it something instantly, which I kind of think you made up on the fly. There was this moment when Werewolf was in some pain from getting a kick to the gut or something, and he's in the middle of the ring, kind of hunched over, and you called it a stalling surfboard pancake. Explain yourself, first of all, and then tell me about the devastation and how awesome this move was.
Yeah, if you talk about one of the best unique forms of offense of the night or in pro wrestling, period, you got Rickster who stops an assault with a well-placed gut kick, studding Werewolf, and he's able to hit the ropes, jump onto his back, and stand on him like he's a surfboard, and he holds it for a second. I think I saw a hang 10, I'm not sure. But then out of nowhere, after stalling on him for about a good 3-4 seconds, he jumps straight up in the air and comes down and just stomps him into oblivion and just pancakes him on the mat. It was amazing.
I loved it. It was a moment for me. They created a moment for me, and it was great. Another moment these guys created in this match, they were fighting on the outside, man, making their way around to the table, and this fight spilled up onto this real life wooden picnic table. And my man Werewolf eats a DDT. He might as well went through the table. That thing slapped.
Definitely. Oh, and you talk about having a hard head and being resilient. The sound his skull made when it came off that picnic table. And we're not talking like a plastic picnic table. We're talking about a good old 150-pound made out of 4-inch thick wood pieces of wood, like a big old Yogi Bear picnic table.
This ain't no gimmick table.
Yeah, and they put damage to it. His head cracked that board and broke it. My God.
But I tell you what, man, Werewolf, his size, his tenacity, his determination, whatever it is within him, he has resiliency, and he did not let that do him in. We got more match after that spot, and I was just super impressed by it.
Yeah, he was super impressive. And we won't even talk about how much power offense he put in after taking that maneuver. He got back into that ring and he really fought back and put in some pain on Rickster in retribution.
He sure did, because he hit one of the gnarliest F5s I've ever seen in my life, and he picked up the victory here. And man, these two guys, it was a fantastic match. I am invested in both of them and seeing what they do next and who they go up against next, because I enjoyed them both so much.
Definitely. And dude, the height he got Rickster in the air with that F5. I honestly want to think it took about a good 4 seconds before he came down and actually pancaked on that mat. He launched him in the air with that F5.
That's what I mean. It was gnarly, man. This was a special night full of action that really delivered on every level for me.
Oh, definitely. Valor Pro Wrestling. It's a name that we need to start echoing out there in the world, because these guys brought a wonderful program to our local area, and I am excited for them to come back. They brought us a great product, and it's well worth visiting and being part of.
Agreed. And we can't wait to be a part of it again when they come back to town October 28th, just before Halloween. I'm hoping to see some spooky stuff. I'm hoping to see my man Werewolf and Inferno. Maybe we can see some tag team action. I don't know. Those two guys might go together real good. They're both very beefy men.
That's right. Yeah. Or see them going at each other. Man, you talk about a rivalry right there, to see Inferno against Werewolf.
Oh,
that would be a stellar event.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening to us ramble on as we do. We want to invite you guys to follow our social media accounts. Check the show notes. We'll give a little link to the Valor Pro Wrestling guys over on Facebook. They're doing great things. We can't wait to see more from them. Thanks so much for listening to the show.
Thank you guys for listening. And again, support your local wrestlers, support your local talent. Let's keep wrestling alive. VPW.